Hello there, everybody. It's a somewhat low energy Swiss you've got here today. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I've completely forgotten what we're doing with this one. Okay, it's coming back to me. I'm seeing the squad: KFC the Articuno, Southgate the Gyarados, Thrads the Dodrio, Yuri G the Alakazam, Just Simon the Mewtwo. Who was this one? This was a new addition. Rai Hardney. Oh, well, we had a hell of a time coming up with that nickname, didn't we? Rye Hardney, the Rhyhorn. Okay, all right. I'm getting my bearings again, somewhat. Let me stick the turbo on. Is that okay? Right. We did Pokemon Tower, didn't we? We did Pokemon Tower. So the game's opened up. We can oh we can go to what's the name of this town? Saffron. I always struggle with Saffron. Oh, okay. The Rocket Tower's open. That's a thing. Ah, we were debating whether to go down to Fuchsia or not, weren't we? Well, we seem to be in Saffron already at the moment, and you know that old saying: "When in Saffron, go fight at the dojo." Hoo ha! You're trespassing in our fighting dojo. Who doesn't love the fighting dojo? Opportunity for some free Pokemon as well. Ah, oh, oh! What an interesting matchup to start things off. All right then, throw an ice beam there. That's fine. That's good. Now there's nobody here watching yet, so I sure hope I'm not having one of my trademarked microphone issues. Because if I am, no one's been able to tell me yet, and no one can even hear me speculating on whether I'm having any mic issues either. But we will just have to hope, won't we? I hear you're good. Show me. All right, we're powering through this dojo. A quarter of the way through the grunts already. Beedrill ain't got nothing on us. I'm going to switch to a Rai Dontahade though, just to get a little feel for you. Rai Hardney. What was the conception behind that nickname? There was multiple elements to it. I remember that much. Probably um probably something quite juvenile as well. Come on, Rai Hardney. You can do it. Okay, that's another one down. Nothing tough frightens me. I break boulders for training. I don't think we're gonna have too much of an issue either. Even with your level 36 Nidoking, I'm not feeling too concerned. Okie dokie. We're nearly there. And then in the traditional game, you get either a Hitmonlee or a Hitmonchan. Obviously, we've got no clue what we're going to end up with. Um, but if we take one of these Pokemon, it means that we're not going to allow ourselves whatever would be the Lapras inside the Team Rocket Tower. So in treating myself, but actually, I'd prefer to have whatever this is because I think you get the Lapras at quite a low level, don't you? So yeah, we want whatever this is. Psycho Ben's TV says morning Swiss. Morning Ben. Is it early morning or early evening? We just can't tell when we're nearly in December. You wish to challenge us? Expect no mercy. For what have we got here? Okay, Rich Girl. Rich Girl sends out a Pidgeotto. I think, yeah. Oh, I didn't even mean to use Blizzard because I wasn't expecting Blizzard to successfully hit. But there we are. And a hi Graveler. Nah, nah. I know your game, Sunshine. Blowing yourself up. Well, assuming you can get a hit in beforehand, and you can't. Right, so we are going to pick one of these two Pokemon. I beseech you, do not take our emblem as your trophy. In return, I will give you a prized fighting Pokemon. Choose whichever one you like. Okay, there's Dugong, the well-known fighting Pokemon. And there's Spearow, the other well-known fighting Pokemon. I believe right now we will choose neither. and come back to this decision later on. Psychoben in the chat says, "I've not kept up to date. How many badges have you got?" I've not actually done one of these in a few weeks, so you might be relatively up to date. I've got 4 badges at the moment. 4 badges down, 4 more to go. Although as I'd started to kind of feel in the last few episodes, I think the slight problem with me having caught a bunch of legendaries in this randomizer Nuzlocke is it's actually starting to feel quite easy. I might have broken it by having these, super excellent Pokemon right here. I now understand why some people set rules about not catching legendaries or adapting settings so you don't encounter them too early on. Yada, yada, yada. Because I've seen people like beat the entire game with like just a Mewtwo or whatever. It can be done. So theoretically, it should be even easier for us at this stage. Right, come on, Gascally. Come on, Voltorb. Come on, Eileen. And a gold duck. You goofed. You done goofed. Bringing back classic internet memories. You done goofed. This is all too much. It's too much to handle. No. We'll handle the tower later. We'll handle the tower later. It's too much for one person to deal with right now. Is Sabrina's gym available? Because I could just go to Sabrina's gym. If I can remember what part of the town it's in. It's all the way up here, isn't it? It's next to the fighting dojo. No, okay, that's all right. Yep, Sabrina's gym is blocked because I've not beat the Pokemon Tower yet. Pokemon Tower, Rocket Tower. I need to beat the Rocket Tower, then I can do Sabrina's gym. Dooby. I wouldn't do Sabrina's gym. Levels will all be too high, says Ben. Do Koga first. Well, yeah, we've shot that one down anyway. Oh, where am I going? What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. We need to get ourselves a bicycle. And I'm trying to remember what we do to get a bicycle. I think we go listen to the man in Vermilion City tell us about how much he loves Rapidash, and then he gives us a voucher to get a bike. Do I need to go to the bike shop first to get him to do that? Oh, I'm not sure. I've forgotten already. NA says, "Hey Swiss, don't know if you saw my comments on your community post. Hope you're doing okay. Sending my best." I did. Yes, I did see that one from a little while ago. I appreciate that. Oh, we did get the bike voucher. Okay, happy days. Yeah, I appreciate that, and NA. Without going into too much detail, there has been a bit of stuff going on recently. But I'd say it's well, the generally speaking, the fact that you're seeing me is a measure that things are better than they were a few weeks ago. Frank says, "Oh my God, good evening, Swiss. I so hope you're well. Any thoughts on the election petition?" Ah, yes, the election petition, the famous election petition. I'm gonna be that guy, that really boring, down to earth guy who throws a big load of cold water over everything and says, "Look, we've had we've had petitions on the government website to reverse Brexit or to hold a second referendum. I'm fairly sure in the time of every government, every parliament of every government, you end up getting a petition that gains some amount of traction to say, get the government to resign, have a general election. I'm sure we've had that under the Tories as well. I suppose what is notable is the fact that such a petition seems to have gained so many signatures so quickly and so early on in Labour's time in power. That's noteworthy, I suppose. But the prospect of like, I think at PMQs, I haven't seen this PMQs by the way, but I've just heard about it. But I think that there's a man in the wall there. Can you guys see the man in the wall? I can see the man in the wall. There's a man in the wall behind that woman, and he's there in the wall. Oh, Gen 1, don't we love you? Yeah, I've from what I heard, apparently Kemi Badnock like mentioned the petition at PMQs and then was like, "So, come on then, you're gonna resign?" And I sort of just rolled my eyes when I heard it. And I thought, "Oh God, you know, it's a sign of the unpopularity of the government amongst a certain segment of the population." But it's not going to change anything. It's sure as hell not going to spawn a general election for that matter either. Because I mean, we're a country of how many millions of people? You'd need a hell of a lot of signatures on a percent. Why have I not? Oh, I've got to go redeem the bike voucher. I'm not on the ball, guys. I apologize. Go get the bike. So yeah, I think no doubt Labour's managed an amazing trick in becoming just this unpopular already. But yeah, there's not going to be any scope for a general election anytime soon. Right, you know, I'm just tossing this TM. Get gone. Let's push on. I have been thinking this though, guys, and I wanna stake out this opinion nice and early on. Labour obviously needs to deliver while they're in government, and I'm still quite willing to believe that they are quite unpopular at the moment, but in a year or two or however long's time, once hopefully the fruits of some of their policies, when some of their policies begin to bear fruit, something like that, you know what I mean. Then perhaps that dial will shift and they will be better received. Of course, if that doesn't happen, then we throw it on over to the Tories to say, right, you guys in opposition, Kemi Badnock, can you repair the party's image? Can you capitalise on Labour not doing so well, etc., etc.? If the answer to that question is no, if the answer to both questions is no, Labour are a failure in government and the Tories can't capitalise for opposition, then we enter a very interesting zone, which is the Farage reform zone. And I know it kind of sounds ridiculous to kind of sort of go, oh, for a Farage and reform when they're a party that's got like, 4 MPs in Parliament or whatever. I'm not saying they'd win a majority off the bat necessarily or anything like that, but I think that they make sense as sort of this and not they've got that Lib Dem energy almost of not the main two parties don't want to vote Labour, don't want to vote Tory, but with an added little sprinkle of some populism in there as well. And we've been alive in the 2010s and the 2020s, folks. We know what populism does to the masses. So that's a thing that I'd keep an eye on. Farage capitalising on the failures of Labour and the Tories. It could happen. It could happen. Again, this is not a prediction of a majority at the moment. It's just a thing to keep an eye on to say, look, if X and Y don't pan out this way, then Z is going to have a very good time. NA says, the Irish general election is tomorrow. Any chance you could please talk to your Irish correspondent about it sometimes, or you could just do your own thing on it, perhaps? I'll see about doing something, NA. I don't think it's likely I'm going to be sort of streaming in the immediate aftermath of it or anything like that. But certainly, if I'm getting the chance, I'll chat to some of my people in the know, and we can come back to it at a later date. Maybe that's the best chance. I'm afraid that for the time being, my YouTubing is still going to be a little bit sporadic. As much as we put that excellent effort into trying to do some stuff every day, and when we're redoing the channel, blah blah blah, sometimes life just gets in the way, and you have to roll with those punches and say, okay, you know what, I'll do what I can for now until I can do more. NA says, I think the Tories will need to work with reform in some capacity if they want to get back in power anytime soon. I mean, I'd heard a thing about this as well. Actually, I was listening to a podcast or something. I think that what do I think? I know what I think, or at least if it's not me who thinks it, I heard someone else think it, and I thought, that's a good idea. I'll steal that for my own. What do I think? Um, uh, There was that was it. That was it. In the way that the Lib Dems didn't really target Labour in the last election. You know, obviously they're a party. They're in theory opposing anyone. They're standing in a bunch of seats. Blah blah blah. But it was very clear that the Lib Dems, from their rhetoric and from where they were throwing most of their resources in the election and all else, they were targeting the Tories primarily. They were targeting the Tories. And hey, it was a good time for them. They got more MPs than they've ever had before. Who's poisoned? Who's poisoned? KFC, don't be poisoned. Have I got anything to unpoison you? You can have a super potion. Let's put a plaster over that wound. So with that being sort of like the way that the Lib Dems go about it, I could see reform perhaps benefiting from no longer reform, and the Tories for that matter, maybe not even necessarily having any kind of a pact with each other per se. But basically saying, okay, we're no longer going to be attacking each other as much. It's no longer going to be reform trying to say, oh, the Tories are no good anymore. It's no longer going to be the Tories saying, stop drifting off to reform, come back to us. Both of them, if they turn their fire on Labour specifically, and make it clear that they're both of them together are more about opposing Labour than they are about fighting one another, then it may be easier to sort of harmonise that message and get from their point of view. I don't necessarily at all want to see them succeed, but if they can get that sort of harmonisation of message, then there'll be some areas of the country maybe where people would vote Tories to get Labour out, some areas of the country where they'd vote Reform to get Labour out. You could see almost a bit of a reversal of what we had at the election just gone. I don't think they will work together in any kind of a formal capacity. I certainly don't think there'll be any kind of a pact within Parliament with them working together. And I doubt, strongly doubt, there will be any kind of a formalized seeming pact when it comes to the next election. We will stand down in these seats for you, or we'll stand on joint tickets or anything like that. I don't see any of that happening right now. What I do see maybe is some kind of and this may or may not happen, but I'm saying if it does happen, it will be some kind of a slightly informal kind of look. We're going to target our resources here. You target your resources there. We'll try not to sling too much mud at each other in public, and we'll focus on Labour. That will be their sort of working together as it would manifest. I'd say, oh, we're going to have a bad time in the Safari Zone here because I have got far too many items on me. Yep. Yeah. All right. Luckily for us, we don't need a revive anyway. And I only get to have one encounter while I'm here in the Safari Zone as well, so I'm gonna have to make the most of that. And I'd say, let's try and get to a good bit of the Safari Zone for it. But actually, given that it's randomized, it could be anyone. Who's it going to be? It's an Aerodactyl. Look at that. It's a quirky old Aerodactyl. All right. That's our Safari Zone encounter then. I'm just going to throw a ball. No. Oh, well. It was a long shot, wasn't it? And A says, have you any self-imposed level caps? Earlier in the run when we were trying to do the Pokemon Tower, I'd said we didn't want to have anyone over level 30 attempting it. Or Firestone. Okay. Yeah, because of how easy this is, I think at different stages I might have to introduce level caps. So I might sort of say, for this gym leader, I won't use anyone over this level. For this bit, I won't use anyone over this level. But it's got to kind of be a little bit ad hoc. But I'm more than open to your suggestions, dear viewers. What you think might be suitable for a challenge while we're doing this. I'm not making it to the end of this. But, oh, hello, Lapras. Oh, I'm not allowed to have you. I don't think I'm going to make it to the end of this Safari Zone and get all the items I need at this point, though. Are the Warden's gold teeth down here? Am I remembering that correctly? No more room for items, of course, of course. Why would there be room for items? Okay, we're just going to ditch the TM for scratch. Go on then. Lemonade. Okay, that was a false alarm, folks. It was not the Warden's gold tooth. We're going to run out of steps here. Oh well. Oh well. First effort. And earlier Renee had said totally understandable Swiss. I appreciate that. Like Ben said, have you considered maybe putting some items in the PC? Oh, I didn't mean to use a safari ball. Whoops. Yes, I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna do that now. To be honest with you, right? In doing this stream, I hadn't necessarily got myself into the right mindset to go right. I'm gonna think about all the things I'm supposed to be doing in Pokemon today. I just thought I'd kind of just break it, having been, I don't know, however long it had been since I streamed. I just decided to jump straight into it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll find my feet with it again after a little bit. But I think I have been a little bit scatterbrained trying to do this at the moment. Right, deposit. Let's get rid of some trash. We don't need a Firestone at the moment. We don't need the HM for cut at the moment. Oh well, the old rod's gone. We don't need the HM for fly. That lift key can get gone. The Sylph Scope can go. The Thunderstone and the Moonstone. And TM32 and TM7 and TM1. Because if those TMs are any good, I would have, in all likelihood, have used them by now. All right. So where are we at? We came down to Fuchsia. Oh yeah, okay. Right, so yeah, Koga's gym. Let's say a level 30 level cap for level 35 level cap for Koga's gym. So KFC, if KFC levels up beyond level 35, they've got to go on the PC. I think that's what we're going to say for Koga. All right then, fight me. Strength isn't the key for Pokemon; it's strategy. I'll show you strategy that can beat brute strength. Let's have it. And they asks any type of features or design you want to see for the Switch 2. Oh, I know. If only Claire was here, they'd have me over the hot coals. I don't even have a Switch, the original Switch. Ah, right, Hardney. Shit. Wasn't paying attention. Too busy talking about Switch. My fault, not yours. Well, we didn't get much out of Rye Hardney, did we? Look, we're still fraught with danger, guys. There's still an element of danger here. If I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, people still die. Shit. No, I don't actually. I mean, I've played on Switches before, but I haven't actually owned a Switch. So I don't have that much input to offer about Switch 2. Not having owned a Switch, you see. It's been on my to-do list for a little while, but you know what I'm like with games consoles. Takes me a long time to adopt. I will get a Switch round about the time the Switch 2 comes out. That will probably be what happens. I don't have a Switch either. Spendable money is an elusive thing, says an yeah. I can, I can afford to make the odd impulse purchase at the cheap end of the spectrum, not so much at the expensive end. All right, Ghastly. Oh, all right. You know what? I'm starting to feel the challenge a little bit now. I'm starting to feel it. We've had someone die. Someone's been paralyzed. I've been forced to switch out. I'm actually starting to feel like I'm having to sing for my supper finally. Although Mewtwo is a nice fallback. Just use Mewtwo. Psychoben says, I've got a Switch, but I don't know if I'll be able to get a Switch 2 with a kid on the way. With a kid on the way, Ben! This is news to me. I didn't know this at all. Congratulations. Yeah, big chat, please. All two of you. Big congratulations to Ben there. I don't know if I'll be able to get a Switch 2 with a kid on the way, nappies to buy it, and all that jazz. Might be a Christmas beg. And A says, I'm the same. The odd Christmas chocolate or mince pies is usually my limit. No, I can absolutely understand that. Not being the top of your priorities there, money wise. I don't know. Just go mention. Just go buy some old, you know, buy yourself an old Nintendo Wii or something. Psychoben says, I thought you knew, to be fair. I'd mentioned it in Bullet. There's a hell of a lot of chat to keep track of in there. I've not been in frequently enough to have seen everything. So yeah, no, this is the first time I'm hearing it. So yeah, huge congratulations to you. Wow. Ben, you're younger than me. You're younger than me by a few years. What am I doing with my life? Why haven't I created any mini Swisses yet? That's the question I should be asking myself. All right, we'll just bite it then. Oh, Southgate's not having a good time though. Congrats on my bulwarks, says Psychoman. Hey, look, it's nice to know everything works. You know, you've had that proved to you at this point. All right, I think that considering I've been only half paying attention to what's going on in this gym because I've been chatting to you guys, and someone's died, and it has got harder through virtue of the fact that I'm not paying as much attention. That's probably a fair thing to say. Ben says, "Yeah, I'm 27. You're 30, aren't you? Or 29 at least? Yeah, no, I'm 30. I remember when we met up. It was a few years back now, but I think how old was I then, or how old were you then when we had that little meet up with some of the others? I was probably 24 at the time, so you would have been 21, I'm assuming, and now we're 27 and 30. Jesus Christ. And he says, "Lol, Swiss mini-me's. Now we need to hear your Dr. Evil impression." Well, maybe another time. You nearly got one. You nearly got one. Some point. Right, Mewtwo. Get the job done for me. Psycho Ben, I think I was 21 or 22 then, yeah. How time flies, folks. How time flies. And it really does. And yeah, also, too much of our lives seems to be punctuated by long periods of feeling quite bored. Or mine, at least. So it's a double-edged sword. You might not feel like you're having the most exciting time in certain individual moments, but by God, when you end up looking back on it all after a period of time and you go, where did all of that go? Right, let's heal some of these guys. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. I can hear it in my in my voice, in my nose as I'm talking. All right, who's gonna lead? Three heads. Why don't you lead the pack for a change? It's not often we get to use you, is it? All right, these juggling cyclists roaming around Kanto. When are you and your significant other expecting then, Ben? I'm assuming there's probably a estimate, an estimate of when this child is due. And we're fighting Koga, by the way, guys. And A says, did you play either of the Pokemon Stadium games back in the day? Not properly back in the day, not like when I was a little kid, but a bit later on. I think when I was just about heading into my teens, or maybe in my teens, there was a short period of time that I owned an N64, and I think I had Pokemon Stadium on that for a little while. So I have dabbled, but it's not Pokemon Stadium's not like a core childhood memory for me, the same way as it would be for some other people. But I've dabbled. Ben says mid-May next year officially, but I think it's more likely end of May, early June. Alrighty. Wow. Yeah, that's gonna fly by. That really will. Exciting times. Probably means as well, though. Sadly, I'm not going to see as much of you. You know, once that big day arrives, you're going to be much busier with the duties of fatherhood, I imagine. To be tuning into a little old man plays Pokemon on the internet. But hey, someone sing that Circle of Life song from The Lion King. Right, I think we've nearly beat Koga. Again, been ignoring it for the most part, but I'm pretty sure we've nearly beat Koga. Rhyhardne is still dead. Just Simon can finish that off for me. Wait. Well, look, guys, we did it. We beat Koga. And A says, a new generation of audience for you, Swiss. My God, there's a thought. Maybe if I can't naturally grow the viewer base of this channel through discovery, I can just encourage all of my viewers to have children and raise them on Captain Swiss. We need a replacement rate of 2.1 for every subscriber lost. What generation would this child be then? Because obviously we hear about Gen Z, but they're in their teens and early 20s now. Gen Alpha is the current batch of like children, maybe the very youngest of which are just about approaching teen or tween levels or something. So the kids that are around right now that are currently like little babies and toddlers and the yet to be born offspring of dear old Psycho Ben's TV, that's going to be whatever this next post-alpha generation is going to be. I've got no idea what that's supposed to be called, but that's going to be the new one, isn't it? Or maybe it will still be Generation Alpha. I don't know if we're still within what is going to count as Generation Alpha. I don't know. Right, Hardney, you're dead, so you need to go, I'm afraid. Hardney was released outside by Hardney. Okay. Who have I got on the PC out of interest still? Land Queen, Cruntbug, Elon Duck. Yes. What a quality batch. Gen Alpha until 2025 apparently. I see. Right. So it's going to be right on the cusp, isn't it? Will this baby come out talking about Skibbity Ohio and whatever the other brain rot phrases are? Obviously not, but it's funny to think it might be classified just about that borderline as the same generation that we're already beginning to get memes from permeating the internet. After that, it's Generation Beta. Oh, Ben, how does it feel? How does it feel to well, not personally give birth, but seed, a Generation Beta child? Oh, where's Sigma, eh? Where's Generation Chad? That's what you really want to see. Fight me, man on beach. Oh my god, this trainer has a Mewtwo. Oh, hang on, 1 sec. Yeah, would you save some for me? Thank you. Just being asked if I would like some pasta. Obviously, the answer is yes. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, it's a Mewtwo. Yeah, fighting a random old. I mean, I suppose 1 in 151 chance we are going to end up encountering a few Mewtwo's here and there. Ben says, well, it depends on the source. Some say alpha includes 25, others say it doesn't. I mean, we'll say it's on the cusp for now. I don't know. These things are somewhat more clearer defined after the fact, but there's always a bit of variation. I've seen lots of different dates within the 1990s as being like when millennials end and Gen Z starts. But I'm always on the millennial side of it, or even just right on the cusp. But I've never been put in the Gen Z bracket from one of those estimates of when these generations are supposed to be. Psycho Ben says, I'm on the Gen Z millennial borderline too in 97. You're on the Gen Z millennial borderline on the other side, aren't you? You're on the borderline a bit more than just a toe dipped in Gen Z, sir. Whereas I'm on that borderline just about grabbing onto the remains of millennials. Oh my god. I thought Thrads was going to die there. Let's switch. Frank says, my brother was born in 98 but calls himself a millennial. How can I tell him he's wrong? He's quite a stubborn lad, despite all of his strengths. That's a tough question, Frank. Your brother is wrong, I'm afraid. My de facto definition of millennial is whether or not you have a memory of 9/11 occurring. Not were you alive when 9/11 occurred? No. Do you remember it happening? Now, that's not a foolproof thing. There are obviously people much older who, for whatever reason, might not remember it. But generally speaking, that's my rule of thumb. Your brother is a Zoomer, Frank. Why would he want to be a millennial? I don't know. Millennials are getting the same amount of shit that no, what am I saying? Zoomers are getting the same amount of shit now that millennials were getting a decade and a bit ago. So who wouldn't want to identify with, the ones not getting all the heat? It's a weird. I remember early 2010s, all of these articles and the millennials aren't buying diamond rings anymore. Millennials this, millennials that, avocado on toast, blah blah blah. Now it's all Gen Z. No one cares about the millennials anymore. We're embedded. We're part of the furniture. We're part of the whole generational structure. Now we're looking at these Gen Zers and we're going, what about you? What are you going to bring to the table? Not sure, Frank says. He thinks he's a millennial because he's used an iPad Touch and had a BlackBerry. Maybe the most generous thing we can say is he's not a full-on Gen Z. He's Gen Z, but maybe just about kind of towards the millennial border. I mean, he's only a year after Ben, so Psycho Ben says, "Are you officially a 30-year-old boomer now?" Oh yeah. I've been a 30-year-old boomer since I was about 27. I'm definitely a 30-year-old boomer now. 30-year-old weird Gen Z millennial boomer hybrid. We've missed out Gen X somehow. Gen X belongs in there as well. A little bit of everything. What am I doing? I'm really not paying attention to what I'm doing right now. I need another person for the team. That's a thing that I need. I don't think I've had an encounter on the cycle road yet, though. I know I've had an encounter on this little bit, but not the cycle road itself. So there's some grass here. We're going to go in the grass. We're going to see if we can find anything nice for ourselves. Meh. Meh. NA says the way the media does that with every gen, they did it way before millennials, since around the 50s or 60s, I think. Oh yeah, no doubt. I've seen old episodes of The Simpsons that have made reference to like Gen X, back then being the current up and coming generation Gen X, with much the same kind of thing. Oh, Gen X just want to sit around and watch MTV all day and all that. Frank says, certainly not a scroll on TikTok all day type. Has got a reasonable corporate office job on the South Bank. I abhor TikTok. I really do. If anything makes me identify with the 30-year-old boomer tag, if anything does, it's my just disdain for TikTok. And A says every generation that didn't fight in either of the world wars is painted as awful. Hey, them world wars were quite a while ago now. You're hard pressed. Most people. I mean, my goodness, my grandparents are in their early 80s. They didn't fight in any world wars. They were just about born towards the tail end of the Second World War. That's how post-war we've got now. But you know, you never know, guys. See what happens in the world in the coming decade or so. Maybe you were born too late for World War One and World War Two, but just in time for World War Three. You never know. And then we can say never again, all over again. Oh no. Did I kill Executor without paying attention again? I did, didn't I? That's exactly what I did. I didn't catch him, did I? No. Fuck. That's annoying. All right, I need a win, guys. I need a win of some sort, and I'm gonna get that win. Safari Zone is its own zone. Fuchsia is a separate zone. We are gonna go fish in this man's pond. Oh no, actually, you know what? Even if we're getting no, Safari Zone is its own zone. Yeah, right. Go on, super rod. Fish me up. Fish me up something, super rod. I've embarrassed myself today. The amount of time I've wasted not paying attention to what I'm doing. I need to at least catch a Pokemon, and then I can feel good about myself. What's it going to be? All right then. Put you to sleep, Drowsy. How ironic, putting Drowsy to sleep. Ho ho. Frank says an entire generation grew up thinking they fought in the war because they watched Dad's Army as teenagers. I mean, I think there was more of a. I mean, obviously, in a way, that there was much more of just a strong permutation of the wars in culture back then, I suppose, because they'd been that much more recent, because you would have had living relatives that had actually fought in it yourself. It kind of it felt more relevant, I guess. I mean, at this point, it's very much something seen as part of it's very much part of history at that point. We've got a handful of people still alive who fought in like World War II. Most of our quote unquote old people that we have these days were too young to have fought in those wars anyway. So we are very much removed from it. Oh, hang on, have I caught anything from this area yet? I don't think I have. I think I'm allowed to catch something from this area as well. Okay, what are you going to be? Oh, a Hitmonlee. Wait, did I not catch Drowsy? No, I did catch Drowsy. Okay, happy days. Happy days. Let's try and catch Hitmonlee as well. Let's go 2 for 2 here. I didn't give a nickname to Drowsy though. Again, not on the ball today. Not paying enough attention. We're going to fix that. Hitmonlee. I want your suggestions for a nickname. And A says, my granddad's dad was in the Home Guard during the war. My granddad often tells of how he ended up crawling through Cowpat in his training. When he got home, his wife just stood there and laughed at him. Well, funnily enough, my dad's dad passed away when I was very young, so I never really knew him. But my dad had me a bit later in life, not super old, but a bit later in life. He was in his sort of mid-late 30s when I was born, and he was the youngest of his siblings, and his dad was quite a bit older when he was born. So because of that, I'm basically now contradicting the exact point I was just making a second ago, which is that no one's grandparents fought in the war. Actually, my granddad fought in the war. But then again, he's not around anymore. He died in like the 90s, so he's been gone for a while. But he'd fought in World War II. My dad once said something like he was in a Japanese POW camp. I have not been able to independently verify that or not, but that's what I've been told. Frank says, "Have you been to Poland before, Swiss? If not, would you like to go?" No, I've not been to Poland before. I'm open to going. I'm not especially, it's not super high up my list of where I'd go. I've got other places that I want to visit sooner, but I've got nothing against going to Poland, certainly. Following on to the next question that someone's likely to ask me. So the countries that I've been to outside of England are Scotland, the exotic land of Scotland, which I've visited twice in the past 2 or 3 years now. So I've ticked that one off the list. Wales and Northern Ireland, still got to get around to them, but I've done Scotland. France, Spain, Cyprus, Turkey. I think that's it. France, Spain, Cyprus, Turkey. Yeah, that's my lot for traveling abroad. And Cyprus and Cyprus. I've only been the once. Everywhere else, I think I've been twice at least. Right. What are we calling this Hitmonlee, guys? Polander. There we go. Polander. Beautiful. Right. Where are we? We're 45 minutes into the episode. God, what have I accomplished today? I mean, I beat Koga at least. I suppose that's something. But we've not been quite as tight as we normally are. All right. I think maybe go back to Saffron and make a start on that big tower or something. Just try and work our way through it a little bit. You know, we're not going to rush ourselves. It's going to take us a little while, surely, but we'll at least go fight a few trainers in there. Who's the weakest on the team? Drowsy. Yeah, all right, Drowsy. I'll stick you to the front. You have a little shot. He says as he smiles to himself, going, "Ha. I wonder if Drowsy will survive." Frank says, "I've been to Wales, France, Belgium, Holland, Spain, Portugal, and the United States." Oh, Frank, you are well travelled, and you're quite a bit younger than me as well. Yeah, you've done well. The US is I feel like I need to go to the US sooner or later. Oh, Drowsy's dead. Ah, we saw that coming, didn't we? Oh dear. And I said, "What did you think of Scotland?" I've been to France and Cyprus too. I mean, I've not explored Scotland in depth. I've basically been to one town not too within sort of like the borders area of England, and I've been to another place like a little holiday park on the west coast. But there was some nice stuff at the holiday park actually. There was a little beach. It sort of opened onto, and when I walked around the beach about 10-15 minutes, there was this really big sort of I don't know, cliffs and a rock face, but prior to that it had all been pretty low down. And then walking along this beach, suddenly this big rock face appears out of nowhere, and I went round the corner of that, and it kind of looked like I could have been in one of those TV shows where they try and find a place to shoot that looks like it could be some prehistoric place or something. Like I was just faced with like water on one side and this giant wall of rock with all these different sort of layers of dirt of different sort of shades, and there'd been like this big rock slide at one point, but you could tell it happened a while ago because although you could see where all the earth had moved to, like greenery had started growing over the areas where the rock slide had happened. But it was, yeah, I really got and this doesn't often happen. Maybe it's because I'm not exposing myself to enough naturally beautiful sights, but I did actually find myself stopping and going, wow, this actually looks really nice. I was impressed by the sense of scale of what was around me. And A says, "I've also been to the US, Wales, Canada, Germany, Norway, Spain, and Portugal." See, yeah, all of you people going to Wales in the United States. Wales in the United States. That's the one that's come up twice between Frank and NA that I've not done yet. NA says you could have done some avant-garde filming. I took some pictures. I didn't do any filming when I was there, but I did take some pictures of the stuff that I saw. And it's always a bit of a tragedy when you see something that looks really amazing because you can take pictures and you never really feel like the pictures do it justice. But yeah, I took some pictures of that, so maybe I'll share those with you guys at some point. Performer scientist man with level 29 Magikarp. Oh, that level 29 Magikarp, that's the sort of thing that Drowsy probably could have beat. Not anymore. And Cedra, or Elon Musk, as we like to call him to our friends. NA says that would be cool. I do have I do have a gradually growing stockpile of material at the moment. Although I've not been overly active on YouTube the last few weeks, there's there's little bits that I already had from stuff that I'd been working on. There's more AI generated slop that in the right context could be used for something good. There's little snippets, little photos or videos that I've taken on my phone that can be used for stuff. So yeah, definitely at some point, if I can find a good use for all these things, I can put them together or show you. Frank says, I next want to go to Croatia, Montenegro, and Albania. The general Balkan costs look exceedingly beautiful. Hey, you go for it. You go for it. Like from the sheer number of places you've been already, you seem quite well traveled and quite exploratory and wanting to see all those sites, venturing out further. I think, to be honest, I'm a filthy casual, really. My ideal holiday is just some hot country with a resort and a pool and a beach. I'm more open now to sort of, absorbing the culture and seeing sights and stuff than I was when I was younger. Like when I was a teenager, I had no interest in that sort of stuff. I now view it as, a thing to do that's got some worth to it. But I won't lie, the main thing that I want on a holiday really is just total relaxation and an open bar. That's basically what I'm after, I think. And A says, I only counted countries I've spent at least a day in. I was taken over the border to Scotland and Austria to say I've been, but I don't think those really count. I'll count them. I'd say that if you've been over the border, did you step foot? Did you step foot? Maybe that's the question. If you're in a mode of transport, maybe it doesn't count so much. But did at any point your feet touch the ground in these countries? I'm going to say it counts if your feet touch the ground. We're not counting it if you flew in a plane over these countries. Maybe we won't count it if you were just in a car the whole time. But if you got out and your feet touched the ground, we'll say that you've been there. I'm not having this. Oh yeah, Drowsy's dead, isn't he? Drowsy's got to go. Oh dear. This has been a very interesting episode, guys. But you know what? I suppose we've got a gym badge out of this episode. None of the really good Pokemon have died. Arguably, it could be called a success, even though I've made several unforced errors here. Should we bring someone else on the team? Nah, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the dojo. We're gonna go pick ourselves up a Pokemon from the dojo. Our choices were Dugong or Spearow. I think I'm gonna go Dugong. Yeah, the hard-kicking Hitmonlee. And A says, I don't think I got out the car in Austria, but I think I did in Scotland to inspect Hadrian's Wall. Hey, look, NA. If you've inspected Hadrian's Wall, I think that theory to say that you've been to Scotland. Maybe you've not been to Scotland. Maybe you're not fully absorbed that country, but in a technical sense, you've been over there and you've had a look at one of the things that they're known for. That counts enough, I'd say. Dugong, what are we going to call you? Nah, whatever. I'm going to be really unimaginative. You can be Scotlander. Frank says, Sky News exclusive. Transport Secretary Louise Hay has admitted pleading guilty to an offence connected with misleading the police while a parliamentary candidate in 2014. Sky News can reveal. Ooh. has admitted pleading guilty to an offence connected with misleading the police while a parliamentary candidate in 2014, Sky News can reveal. Oh, interesting. Double by-election time, says Frank. I guess the question is then, does she what happens to her with this revelation? Is she expected to resign from her position in the cabinet because of this? I don't know if this would meet the threshold for a suspension from Parliament, because I feel like I feel like if you're suspended from Parliament, it's usually because of something that you've done whilst an MP, which contravenes like the MP's code of conduct and behaviour or whatever. If this is something historic, so to speak, maybe it kind of slips outside of that, so you wouldn't get Parliament voting for like a recall petition on her or anything like that. So I don't know. I'd have to. What's the other by-election, by the way, Frank? What's our other by-election we've got coming up? If you say that it's a double one. NA says, I'm guessing Japan is probably quite high up your list. It is for me. Yeah, Japan's on my list. Japan's on my list. The United States is on my list. But higher up the list than both of those is some, bottom of the bargain basement basket hot holiday country, some people want to go out and dine on that fine cuisine. Some people are fine with a little bit of Mackies. And I think my next holiday I want really is just the equivalent of that sweet, sweet junk food. I just want a hot country with a swimming pool. That's all I'm really going to be desiring for the next one. But yeah, Japan, United States. I think Iceland as well. Iceland has been on my list. And I don't know, maybe some of the Nordic countries. I want to see why they've got it so good, And they says Sudan for you then, Swiss. A hot country with a swimming pool. I was too broad, wasn't I? I was too broad. Sorry. Let me specify slightly more. A Mediterranean, a European Mediterranean hot country with a swimming pool. There we are. It would feel too much like seeing the world if I ventured much further. You'll find that in Varna in Bulgaria, Swiss, super duper cheap and hot in the summer. Do you know what my ambition for life is, guys? And I've got a few ambitions in life, but one of them is to be in a position where every winter, if I wanted to, I could fuck off to a nice, warm, hot, sunny country for a few months and just not even have to exist in this country when it's pitch black for 3/4 of the day. That'd be really nice. Right. What am I doing? I'm going to set myself up for the next episode here. I've been chattering away and not paying attention to anything I've been doing here. We're going to go to Saffron here, because the thing that we need to do is we need to sort out this Team Rocket Tower, really, don't we? So I'm going to put myself right there for when the next episode starts, so I will remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I will start the episode. I will have a look at the squad. I'll go, oh yeah, Scotlander. And then we'll march into the building and continue on with that stuff. That's the plan there. All right. We got a badge. No one important died. It's not been the most amazing episode, but I feel like it's not been a failure either. So there we are. We'll save that there. Lovely. NA says, truly the boomer view that I could sympathize with. I just want to grill. That's all I want to do. Amesbury, is that how we're saying it? It's not Amesbury, is it? Amesbury is the other likely by-election. Oh, I tell you what, you've piqued my interest here. Let me just make sure we've saved there. I'll close that down. Yes, I know this is a Pokemon stream, but real quick, I'm just gonna have a quick little look at here. Mike Amesbury. Oh, Amesbury is the name of the politician, not the name of the seat. He's just realised. Frank says, Swiss, Google the image. Me tink, me guan, take me own life. It's Grant Mitchell from EastEnders in the background. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay. Right. So Amesbury, Mike Amesbury. Oh, this is the Labour one that punched someone, isn't it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I remembered hearing of that at the time. Let me have a look then. Early career, second term. So following his election, Amesbury returned to the Housing, Communities and Local Government Committee and joined the Modernisation Committee at about 2:15 a.m. on the 26th of October. Amesbury was filming in Frodsham, confronting a man who was lying on the ground. Amesbury shouted, "You won't threaten the MP ever again, will you?" Oh, God. Cheshire police said that an assault had been reported and no arrests had been made. Prior footage was subsequently released of Amesbury punching a man to the ground and of his directing more punches as the man lay prone. Pending an investigation, you're not really supposed to hurt them once they're on the ground, are you? Pending an investigation into the incident, the Labour Party administratively suspended Amesbury's party membership and parliamentary whip. Witnesses said the man had initially engaged Amesbury in a conversation about a local bridge, which would be closed during the winter, before the men's interaction became heated. On the 7th of November 2024, Amesbury was charged with common assault and summoned to appear in court. Yeah. I see why you're saying we're going to get a by-election there. I can see that. I can totally see that. All right, then. So let's have a look at his seat. Runcorn and Helsby. In northwest England, and it's interesting. All right, then. You know what? I'll screen share this with you guys real quick. Then let's have a quick look at this here. So this was the result in 2024. Yeah, very strong Labour majority, as you can say. But Reform and Conservative both in a very close second place. So this will make for a very interesting by-election if we're trying to gauge the relative support of Reform and the Tories right now as the quote-unquote opposition to Labour, you know. Which one of them ends up breaking out in front? Because they're very close to one another here. You know, 16% for Conservatives, Reform for on 18%. You can near enough call it a dead heat. Okay. I don't think anyone's going to win this seat from Labour, by the way. Even though Labour's pretty unpopular at the moment, I think it's too large a majority to be overcome. If I'm proven wrong, then my God, we're in for a hell of a more turbulent parliament than I'd expected. I don't think Labour would lose this one, but I will be very interested to see who comes second out of Reform and the Tories, certainly. And he says they'll probably end up holding it on the same day as the locals on the 1st of May 2025. I see. Fair enough. Getting it out of the way before Psycho Ben's child has been born. Much appreciated. All right, then. We'll call it a day for today then, folks. It's been very nice to see you guys again. I'm sure I'll see you guys again sooner rather than later. Not least because we are heading into Milky Awards season, so I need to put together that document to get all your nominations. Maybe we'll create some new categories this year. I don't know. But we're going to do something for it. I've got stuff that I've started in the works for the Milkies, so that will be our next big fixture that we head into. Very nice to see you all again. I'll catch you all later. Ta-ta.